Minutes past the hour. Let me give you my NFL Power 5. Last night, good win there. Speaking of coaches, Mike McDaniel was mentioned as one of those coaches on the hot seat from McDaniel. Yeah, McDaniel from the Miami Dolphins. Good win for the Dolphins. Didn't see that. Defense showed up. Rams secondary still a little suspect. I mentioned it last night. I actually picked Rams to win that game. And so mathematically, they're still in it. And they've got a pretty reasonable schedule here down there in Miami. As far as the Rams are concerned, they're one more game behind the 49ers and, of course, the Arizona Cardinals, who I talked about last night, who have surprised everybody. Hey, we're over halfway there, and they're in first place. We shall see how long this lasts. Let's go to the Power 5, okay? Philadelphia back in the saddle again. Listen, the defense is really coming together. Vic Fangio doing a really good job. They're second now in total yards, third in passing defense, fifth against the run. So that tells me that they're pretty good in every shape, form, or fashion here. With this Philadelphia defense, I mentioned the fact that I like their draft picks and what's that guy's name? Mitchell. And, of course, Cooper DeJean there, those two cornerbacks, and, of course, the younger players that they brought in the last few years for Howard Roseman, doing a really good job there down up there in Philadelphia. As long as Jalen Hurts can stay healthy and Nick Sirianni lets the coaches coach, as I predicted in the preseason, I can see them going on a long playoff run up there in Philadelphia. They're number 5 team in my Power 5. Bills, a little bit of a controversial one here, but as I mentioned, best start since 1993. Mentioned that yesterday, plus former All-Pro linebacker Matt Milano. Remember, he got hurt in training camp. His window to start practicing opens up this week. I don't think he's going to play in the big one this week, although it can really use him against that Chiefs team. He is open up to come back. I do think he will be back, like John Restano said, probably December. Well, we're in the second week of November. Good news there. Bills, I do like this running game. They're plus 97 in point differential, third in total points, and they're like 4 games up in the East. I mean, they are running off with this thing in the AFC East. I mean, it's got to the point now where they can almost take the last week of the season off, take their own bye week, rest a lot of the starters, maybe play one possession there in the last week and go in and get their own bye week. I've seen teams do that before and play really well and you go ahead and go pretty far in the playoffs. They could potentially do that the way they're playing right now, this Bills team. I know Miami, I just mentioned Miami. Of course, those teams are mathematically in it. I got a feeling they're probably going to get beat again this week, and Kansas City is going to be 10-0. I haven't broke that game down. I got to check their injury reports for both teams. But that being said, I do like the way. I like the 1-2 running backs here. I like the fact that the defense is playing better. They're keeping the opposition off the field. If with Ray Davis and James Cook, the defense won't have to do so much here. They're playing, and like I said, the least sack season there for Josh Allen in his tenure there, and one of the lowest interception seasons he's having. So you can make he's right there in the thick of thing for MVP this year. Believe it or not there. So I got him at number 4. 8-2. Best start since 1993. The Chargers, folks. The Chargers at number 3. Best defense points-wise in the NFL. Yeah, I said that correctly. The Chargers, 13.1 points per game. 6th in total yards. 2nd in turnover battle. Justin Herbert staying upright. This is a dark horse team to get into the Super Bowl this year. Remember, they had this Chiefs team down 10-0 with a flood of injuries. Both tackles were out that particular game. And and Justin Herbert had an ankle sprain, and they almost beat the Chiefs anyway. So, as I mentioned weeks ago, this Charger team, folks, this LA Charger team is one of the only few teams that could knock out this Chiefs team on any given Sunday. So, got them at number 3. And, of course, number 2, Detroit, man. Best start since 1954. It was 56 last week. Now they've won another game, 8-1. Check this out for the Detroit Lion fans. The last 3 wins, 2 of them on the road against playoff-worthy teams. In other words, if the playoffs were to start today, folks, if the playoffs were to start today, the teams they beat, 2 of them on the road, Houston on Sunday, come back from 23-7. The Sunday before that at Green Bay. The Green Bay would be a wild card team if the playoffs started. And, of course, before that, Minnesota had the best record. They were tied for the best record in the NFL. They gave Minnesota their first loss. They were like 5-0 or something like that. Very, very impressive start to the season, and they've been playing through injuries. Their left tackle been out. They've had injuries on defense, and they just keep right on rolling. I mentioned before, top 5 in offense and defense. A lot of good balance, run-pass balance there. I know that the tackle being out this past week, that Jared Goff with those 5 interceptions, one of them was like a Hail Mary towards the end of the half, but still playing really well, though. Other than that game aside, playing with, and that was a game they came back and won. So easily to put Detroit at number 2. And, of course, number 1, Kansas City, perfect 9-0 start. 4th in total defense. A lot of those young guys that they got, McDuffie and Kalaskis, I guess is his name, the linebacker here, really playing well. Those guys have really got this team working out well on the defensive side, looking like they're not really missing L'Jarius Sneed, who's now a Tennessee Titan, which I thought they would. And, of course, Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to ask Rich Ferris about here. I'm going to ask him when he comes on here in just a few minutes, what does he think about that particular trade and DeAndre Hopkins, where he is simply balling out of control, more touchdowns in the, 2 games than 6 games with the Tennessee Titans there. But my point about Hopkins, he's helping get Xavier Worthy open here. I noticed that Worthy's getting more targets. So a lot of balance there at the running back. Of course, Kareem Hunt playing like a young player again. And I read today that the starter will be back there here in just a few more weeks at that running back position. So just a lot of good news there for the Chief fans. And, of course, a lot of the other fans are probably getting a little bit irritated with this team playing so well. Kind of remind you of the New England Patriot, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. My answer to that, just get better, man. Just get better. Be smarter, hire the right coach, get the right quarterback. If you don't have the right quarterback, go out and get the right quarterback. If you don't have the right coach and you don't have the right coach, spend the money, go out and get the right coach. You get those 2 things squared away, you win. Look how, I know that Denver has lost 2 straight, but look how competitive Denver is with all their dead cap money, just because they've got Bo Nix paired with the right coach there in Sean Payton. So let's go over this one more time. Philadelphia at 5, Buffalo Bills at 4, the LA Chargers at 3, Detroit Lions at 2, and, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs at 1. And I know teams,